Morning, all. All right, so tonight's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because normally on trade deadline day, there's one game in the National Hockey League. Sometimes there's been none. Traditionally, this year, because of the schedule being as condensed as it is, we got 8 games. And it's possible we'll have brand new lineups. Keep in mind, too, that for teams that are making a lot of changes, it's possible they struggle out of the gate while they're adjusting to those changes. So don't panic when they struggle. All right, so we've got 4 games starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. One starting an hour later than that, one starting an hour later than that, and then an hour later, and then a half an hour later. So it's all staggered out after that. So long night overall, 8 games. Not too shabby, fun to watch. So starting off with Detroit in against Carolina. Detroit proved once again the last time these teams played a couple days ago that you can't take them lightly. Detroit's 14-23-3. They've won 3 out of 6 now against Carolina. Carolina's 27-9-4. They're embroiled in a battle with Tampa and Florida for first place in the division. So if they can take care of this game, they're in good shape. Now, on the Detroit side, I've got a couple of guys who may be moved before the deadline. Adam Ernie, 10 goals, 6 assists. Maybe you sell high on Ernie because this is the career high he's had in goals. Maybe you look at his age and say he could actually get better than this. We'll hold on to him. Christian Juice, similar story. 2 goals, 8 assists for him for 10 points so far. We'll see how many players leave Detroit before the end of today. Sebastian Aho, 17 goals, 21 assists for 38 points for Carolina. And Pesce, 3 goals, 17 assists for Pesce. So, we'll see how things go between these teams tonight. Chicago and Columbus. So Columbus, who are in full sell mode, does that hurt their performance tonight? Does it help it? Once we're past the trade deadline, there are also instances where a team kind of gets better because they don't have to worry about it. So we'll see if that happens with Columbus. Chicago's won 5 out of 7, meaning tonight's the last time they'll play them. Chicago's 19-18-5. For Columbus, they're 15-20-8. And again, the moves they've made over the last 48 hours show they're fully in sell mode. Strome, 8 goals, 4 assists. Don't think he gets moved for Chicago. And Kane, 14 goals, 38 assists, 52 points. Great year for Kane. Again, if Chicago finds a way to get that last playoff spot, he has a very good chance for the Hart. At the very least, being top 3 for the Hart. Roslovic, 8 goals and 20 assists for Roslovic so far this year. He's not being traded, and neither is the guy who got traded to Columbus with him, I don't think. Patrick Laine, 10 goals and 8 assists. He finally got his first goal in 15 games the other night. We'll see, right? Is Columbus going to hold on to him, or maybe they'll move him? So it's that time of year, though, where the names of who might get moved greatly outnumber the names of players who actually get moved. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Toronto Maple Leafs in against the Montreal Canadiens. Toronto's 28-10-3. Toronto has won 4 out of 5 against Montreal. Montreal's 17-12-9. And they need to pick it up and get it back in gear. On the Toronto side, of course, you have Spezza, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. You also have Hyman, 14 goals and 16 assists. They've both achieved more than I think what was expected of them so far this season. On the Montreal side, Tatar, whose name has been tied to trade rumors here and there for at least a year. 8 goals, 17 assists for him. I wouldn't be that surprised to see Montreal move him, but I think he gets moved in the offseason. He still has the 1 year left on his contract, right? Corey Perry, 9 goals, 7 assists. It's been fantastic signing. I still don't understand how he's cleared waivers this year at all, and I don't understand why it took so long for anybody to sign him, and he signed for so little with Montreal. It's just so weird because Perry showed in the playoffs last year he can still be Corey Perry. And Montreal got a pretty good deal on that one. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Winnipeg in against the Ottawa Senators. Winnipeg's 25-13-3. The Senators are 13-25-4. Winnipeg's won 5 out of 6 in this matchup so far this year. Andrew Kopp, 14 goals, 19 assists for 33 points. Not too shabby for a player that I don't think we saw. I mean, I'm a huge Kopp fan. I didn't see that kind of performance coming from this year. Ehlers, 17 goals, 24 assists for 41 points for Nick Ehlers. On the Ottawa side, you've got Connor Brown now with 13 goals and 10 assists. He's on quite the point streak and, goal scoring streak, right? Points as well, too, right? Tierney, 5 goals, 11 assists. There's been discussions about whether or not he gets moved today. So it's possible he's moved before I even upload this video. At 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, the St. Louis Blues, who it's speculated could be both buyers and sellers at the deadline, as in picking up players but moving out free agents they don't think they're going to keep anyways. They're 19, 16, and 6. They're in against Minnesota, who are 24, 13, and 3. And again, these teams have 5 more games against each other, including tonight. St. Louis has now won 2 out of 3. They're kind of enjoying this matchup with Minnesota so far. Falk, 11 goals. No, Falk doesn't have the 11 goals, 12 assists. Falk has 6 goals and 11 assists. I know what I did wrong there. The player that I meant to put there is Hoffman. But after all those videos I did yesterday, right? And it's going to be the same today. So yeah, 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points for Hoffman. And he may very well find himself on the move. Does his recent play end up making him more important, so they hold on to him? And then Vince Dunn, 5 goals, 12 assists. There's been talk about whether or not Dunn might go. I don't think he necessarily does. Eric Sinek, 13 goals, 7 assists for Minnesota. And Brodin, 5 goals, 11 assists on the blue line. Has been very, very good for Minnesota. They have an expensive blue line. They're going to end up losing a blue liner to Seattle. We'll see whether or not that influences anything they do today. In all likelihood, it's going to influence what they do in the offseason. For right now, they probably leave it exactly as it is. And then at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we've got the Arizona Coyotes in against Colorado again. So Arizona, this is the final matchup with Colorado. Colorado's won 7 so far, or 5 out of 7 so far. So Colorado's trying to make it 6 out of 8. And yeah, 19, 18, and 5 for Arizona, who now find themselves behind St. Louis. And if they were to lose against Colorado, which is possible, and St. Louis wins against Minnesota, which again, this week has shown is possible, we may find ourselves once again saying, well, St. Louis is 4th, so we know who the top 4 are in the West. On the Arizona side of things, Kessel, 15 goals, 17 assists, 32 points. He's been a bright spot during this sudden fall for Arizona. Bunting, 7 games played so far, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points, and prominent in every game. So we'll see whether or not he can get it going tonight as well. And I only say that because they got shut out by Vegas yesterday, right? On the Colorado side, Landeskog, 16 goals, 24 assists, 40 points. UFA at the end of this year. We know he's not going anywhere at the deadline, but it may very well motivate him that he's UFA at the end of the year to put up maybe some more points than he otherwise might. And Graves, who finally got his first goal now. He has a goal to go with 12 assists, 13 points. He's been better, I think, since about the 20-game mark. And then at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, you have the Vegas Golden Knights in against the LA Kings. The Kings may play a lot more relaxed and loose once the deadline's done today. 27, 11, and 3 is the record for Vegas. 16, 18, and 6 is the record for LA. Vegas has won 4 out of 6. So they have 2, including tonight, left against one another. Carlson, 10 goals, 19 assists for 29 points for him. Haig, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. Developed into a pretty solid blue liner so far this year for Vegas. On the LA side, Dustin Brown, 16 goals, 9 assists, 25 points. We know he's not getting traded. And Velarde, 6 goals, 9 assists. It's been a struggle for him after what was a pretty decent start. We'll see whether or not maybe after the deadline things get better. He was better after the deadline last year, so maybe. Then at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, the San Jose Sharks at home against the Anaheim Ducks, who are coming off of a loss against Colorado yesterday. Now the Ducks 12, 23, and 7. San Jose 18, 18, and 4. San Jose's won 4 out of 6. They still have hope of catching St. Louis. They need some help from Minnesota along the way. They also need Arizona to stay cold, but the hope is still there if you're San Jose, at least for now. How does that influence what they do at the deadline? Your guess is as good as mine on what San Jose may or may not do today. I'm guessing they don't do much, but we'll see. Comtois, 11 goals, 12 assists for him. He's been the probably most consistent offensive player for Anaheim, even when he's not necessarily scoring. He's still a threat. Raquel, who's now back, 7 goals, 15 assists. We'll see if he can get back on a relatively hot streak. He was doing well right before the injury, too. Hurdle, 12 goals, 14 assists. Definitely been playing better lately. And Burns seems to be getting it going, too. 5 goals, 19 assists. The individual players you want to see succeed in San Jose are starting to do so. Is it too late? And is catching St. Louis going to end up being a tough task because St. Louis is suddenly hot? Well, let me know your winners in the comment section below in a video that I'm sure is going to get buried by everything else that's going to get posted on this channel today. Best of luck to everybody out there, and may your team do something that you're really happy with today for the trade deadline, even if that means not making a move. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.